Hello, welcome back to Sustainability Talks with Maria J. So today's topic is going to be about reusable coffee cups. It's one of the easiest things I think you can do to start your journey on reducing your waste. Coffee cups are a serious waste issue in Australia, with an estimated 1 billion coffee cups being used by Aussies every year. Planet Ark further did some calculations and found out that about every 30 seconds there's over 50,000 cups that end up in landfill. That's pretty crazy, I think. We're so obsessed with drinking coffee and drinking takeaway coffee. I personally love to sit down and just have a cuppa because, to be honest, I don't really have that time where I just sit down and, it's just like comfortable to just sit, find a nice little cozy cafe, have a seat and drink a nice warm cup of coffee to warm you up inside out. But we're quite obsessed, I guess, with takeaway coffee because of our busy lifestyles, because we're constantly on the go. One of the big issues, it's not only just the fact that we're consuming so much takeaway coffee that it results in such large quantities of waste. I mean, 50,000 cups every 30 seconds. That's insane. So the big issue, I guess, with coffee cups is the fact that they're actually not recyclable. For many years we've just assumed they are recyclable because they look like they're paper and the lid's plastic. The lid is definitely recyclable, but the cup itself is not. The issue is that the cups are actually lined with plastic. I'll quickly show you guys what I mean. I didn't have a coffee cup, but I found this Macca's cup, and it's basically the same thing. So outside it looks like paper, but inside I did a little bit of ripping. You see that tabby thing there? That's actually a lining of plastic. It's kind of see-throughy, that thing there. Yeah, so that's the deal breaker. So the thing is, when these guys end up in the paper recycling bin, they actually contaminate all other recyclable papers in that bin. Think about this. So I put this in my garbage bin, which then goes into the truck, contaminating all the garbage bins that went into that one garbage truck. And that garbage truck goes to the recycling facility, tips it into that pile there, and it's gonna contaminate all those other piles. And that's before it gets filtered through the system. If this doesn't get caught in their filtering system, then it's gonna screw up the whole amount of paper that went into recycling. So at the end of the day, I guess it is a bit off-putting because I'm recycling things properly, but my neighbor might not, and as a result the things that I recycle might not even end up being recycled. They might end up just being tossed out to landfill, and that's really quite disheartening. So it's really important to, I guess, do your research and find out what is recyclable, and if it isn't, how to dispose of it correctly. So with coffee cups, they're definitely not recyclable. I have caught up a few waste collectors like Vizzy does a lot of paper recycling in Australia, and I called them up and they said no to coffee cups. I also called up my local council and asked them, and they said no to coffee cups in paper recycling bin. So if you have coffee cups like this, or even like the Macca's cups, the soft drinks one that are lined with a bit of plastic inside, they do belong in the general waste bin. There is one guy who's currently working on a separation technique, but it's not gone large scale yet. In Europe, I know they do recycle these cups because they do have the system there. Like, they do get separated and recycled in Europe quite well. But in Australia, unfortunately, we haven't got the system there yet. We haven't got anyone leading the way on this type of waste treatment. So unfortunately, these guys go to landfill. That being said, there's been a lot of coffee cups that have come out, or different versions of coffee cups. So there are compostable coffee cups nowadays, and this basically means if you read on the bottom of the cup around this section here, sometimes there's words inside there and it will say compostable, biodegradable, it might have a little symbol or something. So if it says compostable, that means it basically can be composted and it will break down 100% in a composting system. So if you have a home composting system or a home worm farm, you can chuck it in there. I have tried it a couple of times now, and it does take about 2 to 3 months for the plastic lining, which is actually cornstarch, to break down. It does take a bit longer, but it will break down. But generally, compostable coffee cups can sometimes go into the green garden waste bins at home. Depends on your council though, because they have contracts with different waste collectors and garden waste collectors, therefore it varies from council to council. So what I mean is some contractors prefer garden waste because when they sell that compost, it's less nutrient based, so that's what their clients prefer. So they don't want food waste technically in the garden bin. But there are some councils who are trialing food waste to go into the green bin as well, together with gardening, so that does create a more nutrient dense compost. And if that is the case, then you can actually put compostable coffee cups into the green bin. But before you do that, please do check with your council to see if they are allowing food scraps or food waste, in which case compostable packaging is acceptable. Please check with your council before you actually do start chucking it in there, otherwise you will once again contaminate the bin, and it's just a waste of time for everybody, to be honest. Other types of cups that have come out, coffee cups, are biodegradable coffee cups. This has been quite a tricky word because apparently biodegradable cups aren't plant-based like compostable cups. So they're not 100% compostable. They do biodegrade. So what that means is there is a certain type of additive that is added to the plastic lining within the cups, that can help them break down. However, the research hasn't confirmed whether it breaks it down completely or into microplastics, because that has been an issue with the past couple of years where a lot of brands are saying biodegradable plastic bags, right? But that doesn't mean the plastic bag will break down into the earth and return as back into the earth. It meant it broke down into microplastics. That creates an even serious issue. So next time when you're drinking a takeaway coffee, have a look and see what your cup says. It's really interesting, like these tiny symbols on the bottom do say a lot, even though we never really pay attention to us. I hope that's been informational, and next time maybe instead of getting a takeaway coffee cup, dine in and have a few minutes to yourself, or have a drink with a mate and just spend like 5-10 minutes just chilling, I guess. The next segment will be about takeaway cups. So if you do want to get takeaway coffee, there is an option of reusable cups. There is also the option of bringing your own mug. I do that quite a bit at work, so I just go downstairs to my local cafe and I just bring my own mug and I go down there, and they're totally fine with it. Some cafes are quite open to what you bring in terms of reusable cups, but others are still learning about reusable cups and the whole system there. So just maybe next time go down to your cafe and ask them, hey, is it okay if I bring my mug, and give it a go. Otherwise, I'll go through some cups with you guys. So the biggest player in the Australian market will definitely have to be Keep Cup. This is the first Keep Cup I ever purchased. I purchased this probably about 6 years ago when Keep Cup first came out, and they were at like a designer's market. So I bought this really cheap. I think it was like 12 or 14 bucks, and it's lasted me quite a while. So this cup is a polypropylene cup, so that means it's thermoplastic, so it's plastic that can withhold and retain some heat, and polypropylene is recyclable. So if you have a look at the bottom of the cup, there is that triangular image there. That triangular image there basically means that triangular image means it is recyclable. Number 5 stands for polypropylene. So when this goes into the recycling system, the recycling guys will have a look at the triangles and know which pile to separate it into. So all the number 5s will go all together. And then the only issue with this one I found was that over the years, especially in the past year or so, the suction around the lid has gotten a little bit loose. So when I do walk around, it kind of spills a bit out of the sides. So instead I just grab some serviettes and I wrap it up, and that's okay. However, I did get this cup recently. It's pretty good. Heat retention wise, if you get it takeaway, I feel like this is a regular size. This might retain heat for up to about maybe 30 minutes to an hour. Like by an hour it's going to be like lukewarm. and then after that it's gonna kind of get to room temperature, I guess. And then the other option, sorry, this one retails for about $16, so it's not too bad. The other option is Keep Cup also has glass cups. I think they're double walled, so they retain the heat a little bit better, and they retail for about $24, and this is the small size. The only issue with this cup is if you drop it, it will shatter, so please be careful with the glass Keep Cups. It's really heartbreaking when you break one. Another reusable coffee cup I have is Pottery for the Planet. Pottery for the Planet is a really great brand. They're based up, I believe, in Queensland, and they make these ceramic coffee cups that you can reuse. They're so pretty. I'll show you the inside as well. Look at that. And they're all handcrafted, and it comes with a silicone band so it can not burn your little fingers. And the silicone lid is really great. So this one is about retailing from $35. They have 3 sizes, so it's really handy. They're also quite heavy, so you won't knock it off your table. This one I got from a little boutique on a holiday, so I think I paid a little bit more, but it's still really, really nice. The only issue as well is if you tap it or crack it, if you tap it or knock it, it will come up with cracks. As you can probably see, there are some cracks around because the first time I used it, I took it to Starbucks and the lady accidentally knocked it and it cracked. But to be honest, I think I kind of like it that way. It makes it a bit more unique. That said, because they are all handcrafted, they are all individually unique. So go check them out because they're really, really pretty. They come in so many different colors, so beautiful. Another reusable cup I have is just a random Metro cup. Woolies was giving this away when they opened up downstairs. A lot of companies are using reusable coffee cups as merchandise, or like freebies, I would say. This one's okay. I mean, it's very basic. It doesn't retain heat too much. It's so, but because it doesn't have that silicone band, it does burn my little fingers sometimes. Another thing I should mention about this one, because it is ceramic, it does retain heat a bit better, I find. Probably almost as good as the glass version. There are so many brands out there on the market now that are reusable coffee cups. So other brands that I've seen around are Soul Cups. They came out probably about within the past 2 years or so, and they retail about $25. Another brand that's really popular that came out shortly after Keep Cup is Frank Cups. They're a bit different, so I don't have one to show you, but they're probably really good in terms of leak proof, because the lid, it's like a little can, and the lid's really, it's a twist top, and there's a little button that you push, and that little button makes a little hole for where you sip out of. So like when I'm drinking this, it will come out from the top, but it might also leak from the... Hi, sorry, back again, my battery just died. So as I was saying, there are so many different reusable coffee cups out there on the market now, so it's just a matter of doing research to find a cup that fits your budget range, your taste preferences in terms of colors. They're all so colorful these days, and I guess also what kind, like how you like to drink your coffee, I suppose. If you like to drink like really hot coffee, which I personally don't, then ceramic cups are probably better at insulating them, as well as I guess Frank cups. If you're someone who drinks your coffee quite quickly, then something quite generic like this might be more appropriate for you. So just have a look out there on the interweb, and there's so many brands out there. You can just type in reusable coffee cups into Google and it'll come up with a load of brands for you guys. That being said, with reusable coffee cups, the perks of them is not only just number one, saving the environment and reducing your landfill waste, but number two, a lot of cafes have jumped onto the bandwagon of encouraging BYO cups, mostly thanks to the work of Responsible Cafe, which is a great organization that has been working with cafes and trying to help them encourage and increase awareness about the waste that comes from coffee. So they've been working with cafes to help them encourage the uptake of BYO cups. So a lot of cafes now, I think there's over 4,000 cafes that have signed up with Responsible Cafes, and they all offer some form of discount if you bring your own cup. So if you bring your own coffee cup, some places will give you a 30-cent discount, other places will give you a 50-cent discount. There are some smaller cafes that give you discount up to $1. So you can hop onto their website and have a look at local cafes that might be near you, and you can probably pop down and help them support you, help them support the environment. I hope that made sense. And as well as that, I thought I'd just run through a quick list, a really short list of mainstream coffee places that do give discounts. Starbucks has been a really great one. They've taken on the initiative quite early, so they offer a 30-cent discount for both hot coffees as well as cold coffees. So you can bring your own cold coffee cup, shake cup, frappe cup. I don't know what to call these, to be honest. Up until probably last year, I had a really big issue because I'm a massive fan of iced coffees. I didn't know how to tackle the issue of BYO cup for an iced coffee. So Starbucks is really great because you can bring this cup or any cup of any cup, literally. It can be like, you can just BYO cup and they will give you a 30-cent discount for any beverage on their list. Another thing I should also mention here is Gloria Jeans is really great. They also offer, I believe, 30 cents discount on BYO cups, and they also accept most cups as well. Sometimes I'm a bit lazy because this cup takes up a lot of space in my bag, whereas this one's a bit smaller, so I will bring this cup to Gloria Jeans and ask for a small chiller. That's what they call their fraps. I'll ask for a small chiller. Another place that recently started encouraging BYO cups is also Soul Origin. They offer a 10% off BYO cup. So if you bring your own cup, you get 10% off. And unfortunately, Macca's hasn't joined the bandwagon. Macca's is one of the biggest coffee sellers in Australia, and they still don't support BYO coffee cups. They accept it. So if you go in and ask them for a coffee in here, they will give it to you, but unfortunately there's no discount offered there, so it's quite unfortunate. I mean, it's hard to convince people to BYO cups for the environment because they are a bit bulky, people don't want to carry them, they're easily forgettable, so sometimes there is a necessity for a financial incentive for people to reduce their waste and reduce their impact on the environment. So that's why it's so great that Responsible Cafe is working with so many cafes to reduce coffee waste. So Macca's, if you're listening and watching, please join the bandwagon and help Australians reduce their coffee waste. If you have any comments or any feedback about today's video, please leave a comment below. If you found it very informative, please give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions about what I discussed today, please know and I'll address it in the next interview. Any other topics that you're interested to learn more about regarding sustainability, please also comment that below and I will make a video about it. So until next time, bye.